Principal Jordan is our school at PS18, and so we started working with them as well, and with Bronx Health Reach.
Okay.
And the first thing that we asked, all of our schools is, what is your vision? Again, we do not come in and say, this is what you're doing. They tell us what are the barriers and what are the challenges that you're facing. So we came to Principal Jordan, and I always give her props because when she told us her vision, you were just a month in, right? She was just a month in, and she said, Maurelhena and Diana, my vision is that I would love for our students to have access to cycling and to be able to feel safe, right? You can have access to cycling, right? But it's to be able to feel safe in riding in their very own community, not going to Van Cortlandt Park, not going to Randall's Island, but how can we make it happen in our very own community? So again, if we're looking at it, right, what does physical activity and movement and sustainability and policy making look like at PS32? And shift, come on the train, walk, jog, cycle with us to PS18 in the South Bronx. And so I'm gonna volley it to Principal Jordan to talk about her vision and cycling and the work that we're doing together at PS18. Take it away, Principal Jordan.
So I apologize. I do not have PowerPoint, but I will speak
We
very.
got you. I got pictures. You know
You
I
got
got
pictures?
pictures.
So Marlene is going to share some pictures, but I'm going to tell you that this partnership has been amazing, amazing, amazing. We could not do this work without Marlena and Diana. They get their props first and foremost. This team is amazing. But I do have to say that the vision, when Marlena came in, as she said, a month in, I told her that one of the pieces that was very important to me was thinking about my childhood as a child who used to ride her bike in St. Mary's Projects, which is right there on Jackson Avenue, in Westchester. My grandmother lived there, and as me spending so much time with my grandmother, um, as soon as it started getting warm, I had my bike and I would ride around for hours, hours, all day, riding around, going into the sprinklers. But nothing was better than knowing, number one, how to ride a bike, number two, just being free. So I wanted that to bring that to many of our students who did not know how to ride a bike. And so in bringing that to our students, what we did was we partnered up with you guys, Marlena from Equity Design and Diana from Bronx Health Reach, to bring that vision to life. So it was a huge journey, but we did it. And so in this 2-year journey, we have had open streets, very similar to PS32. We have had open streets. We have had the opportunity to have our kids learn how to ride a bicycle, which was very interesting. So many partners from USA Cycling, the equity design team, so many partners that Marlena has reached out to just help support us with making sure that our students just learned what and knew what it was like to ride a bike. I think that one of the pieces that I will never forget about those weekends that we had was the fact that one of our Arabic speaking students who is from Yemen, she said she felt free because it was Fra, and she said that those are opportunities that they don't have in her country. And so to feel that level of freedom and be able to do things like being able to learn how to ride a bicycle or being able to ride a bicycle was just almost like freeing for her. And so I said that to say that ultimately we've had weekends with open streets and street lab. On the weekends in October, we have had our Bike Fest. We had the first annual Bronx Bike Fest. And so just thinking about that, it started out raining and then we ended up being able to get outside. So Maurelhena just showed some of those pictures. It was a huge team effort. Street Labs brought the equipment inside in the hallways. The custodians may not have been so happy with the floors being scratched up because the kids were on the scooters, but we had a great time. All the equipment was in the hallways. The kids had an opportunity to safely ride their bicycles in the auditorium. You could not believe what that looked like, but they were able to safely ride their bicycles in the auditorium until we were able to get outside for the actual race. We also had, oh my goodness, Josh Hartman, the Olympian here. So it was great to see that representation. If you guys don't know who Josh Hartman is and know his story, he was a kid that used to ride his bike in Brooklyn in, tell me what park, Maurelhena?
Flatbush.
Yes. So just thinking about that, the fact that he was discovered there. So we want our kids to feel as though at PS18, they can be discovered. We had huge donations over the past 2 years from USA Cycling regarding bikes. VO Ride provided adult bikes for us. We got helmets. We were featured in 3 different news articles. USA Cycling, the article is called Catching Up with the PS18 Initiative. VORide.com, Biking It Forward. VO donates bikes to Bronx School, 36 bikes. We have the Amsterdam News that just featured the article about the Bike Fest called Bike Fest Field Day Comes to the South Bronx. This has been an amazing journey to see kids. You see these kids, they're learning how to ride a bike for the first time. But what's even better is that we have a cycling program here at PS18 now. And so just to think about that cycling program and to think about the fact that our physical education coach is now, this year was teaching 2 classes, the 2nd grade class and the 5th grade class, how to actually mount the bike, how to dismount the bike, how to, just all kinds of safety measures when it comes to cycling. They learned this in the course of the year thanks to the partnership with Coach T. Coach T was phenomenal supporting Coach D with this. Kids really learned safety and they learned and were able to bring this out to 148th Street where we had our open streets and kids were able to ride and race. This was an exciting event. This has been an exciting past 2 years. I know I gave you guys a lot, but it's just so hard to capture the excitement of kids learning how to ride a bicycle for the first time and actually feeling like as though they can be a cyclist, just as Josh, the same as they saw with Josh Hartman. We do have upcoming Harlem Skyscraper Crit Race, Father's Day weekend. So our kids from those 2 classes are going to Harlem for Father's Day to be a part of those festivities and, meet more cyclists and learn more about cycling and just, intake that day and enjoy, what it is to be a cyclist. I feel like our kids got something that most kids don't have the opportunity to do. I want them to feel safe riding a bicycle. We have so many city bikes out here. And so just to think about those city bikes and getting healthy, how many of our kids are getting on those city bikes? Or how many of our kids have bicycles at home? And let me tell you one thing. It doesn't matter where you live. That bicycle could be somewhere stored in the hallway, in the bedroom. I remember my grandmother fussing about how much that bicycle took space up in her apartment. So if my grandmother could do it, so can everybody else. So this was the initiative, and our goal is definitely just to get our kids healthy and understand what healthy physically, mentally, and socially means. So this has been such an ongoing thing, and I'm just excited about what we've been able to do with this partnership with Equity Design and Bronx Health Reach.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Principal Jordan. And again, right there, we are, this is our second year. So the last couple of pictures that you saw, that was from last year. We had 7 families participate in, and think of it as like an outcomes measurement, right? We've been doing cycling clinics to now be able to have students actually race against other youth. And so that was them signing up and registering. They received the bikes. This year, we got a bigger bus from USA Cycling to be able to take families. They're going to have lunch and they're going to have their own tent, and we're going to prep them just like athletes, the athletes that they are, and they're going to race. So we had an opportunity to be able to do it as a part of the USA Cycling Bike Fest, the first of its kind. And it really was a community of resources being pulled together. You know, the community affairs police department, they closed down not 1, not 2, but 4 streets. They closed down 4 streets for students to be able to ride just like a crit, and to be able to have access to ride with an actual Pan American Game bronze medalist, USA Cycling hopeful. The other thing is that I want to bring up is, if you do not see it, you cannot believe it. So we strategically connecting them with BIPOC racing cyclists. So BIPOC racing cyclists. And you could have sworn that just because they showed up with their titanium bikes and their kits, that they were superheroes. They were superheroes to these kids. And so again, yes, riding your bike leisurely is great, but being able to visualize that you can be an Olympian, that you too can be able to ride in a safe environment when adults come together to be able to create that. And the sustainability. It's not just weekend clinics. We were able to train the PE teacher with the help of Bike NYC to offer this. Last year, it was 1 class. This year is 2 class. We have parents, Principal Jordan, coming up to us, right, earlier this week saying, and my child is in the 3rd grade. Can they get access to the cycling too? So again, it's how do we use physical activity to foster those skill sets of socialization, being able to foster confidence. How many of you have had fear of riding a bike? These students, that fear is real. Students have fear of riding a bike, fear of trusting these adults to be able to guide them. So when we think about physical activity, yes, we want students to be able to move, but we also want to be able to expose them to physical activity and sports that they might not necessarily have access to.